So you can see some of the work I did. It doesn't look like much, barely the first floor, but if you look up you can see how bad some of the wood is. There are hornets' nests everywhere, all along the top. And for some reason, anytime I climb up on the ladders up there, going higher, around, especially at the corner, they just come buzzing around. It's not that big of a deal, but once I get up on the ladder, also a lot of scraping. You can see the gnats and everything flying by now. One thing for next time, I need to get all of the bugs and clean out next to the side of the house. My legs are torn up, which mostly it's the itching, which I can manage, but it gets difficult over time. This is the side of the house. I meant to get up there. Not that big of a deal, but I did get this done. I trimmed a lot of the trees away from the house. A lot of scraping. You can kind of see all through here is all complete. Slowly you can see a gap in the wall there. I had to seal all along there so you won't see any hornets, but if you scroll up you can kind of see a lot of them. Just recommend coming in the winter versus the summer. This is front of the house right there. Some water damage. I did take down all the gutters. They were just full of this nasty stuff. You can see this is what was inside of it, just massive amounts of it. Just pulled all that out. There was basically it did rain while I was here, so it was fine. Just comes off the top. I only got one of those windows. I was going to get the other ones. Being up here by myself doing this, I just thought, it was a little too slippery up there. It's been really humid. You can see I do have to repair the screen up there. I needed to get out there. Ladder was just not good enough, but you can kind of see where I scraped all along the top of there, cleaned it out, did what I needed to do. It's Foxy. Say hi, Foxy. All right. So, got up there, cleaned all of it, cleaned all the lines. So I had to dig for the ladder to stay. It also rained all day yesterday, pretty much. So this is the other side. Same kind of issue. It's a butterfly on the wall, but this side's really bad as far as hornets. And it's not. They get agitated, especially when I start sealing off nests. And I don't know. The higher I go, the more agitated they get. I use 2 cans of spray. It's a lot of this, just the spraying or the scraping, which causes a lot of problems for them, I guess. So I did clean. Did a lot of the windows. Obviously, need to do a lot of touch up. But of course, you don't see any wasps until I start climbing up there. But the ladder wasn't the issue. It was wet. Also, sometimes the ladder would slip on some of those boards just older boards. Here's the other side. I got a little bit higher on this side. So I'm going to try and come back out here when it's a little cooler. That's all the debris, everything that was cleaned out. Yeah, let me show you the porch. Porch is where I spent most of the time working when it was raining. Every time I would get up on the ladder and start painting the walls, it would start to rain. So there's the deck, patio, whatever you want to call it. But this I did paint this entire space. I had to scrub all the walls. You can still see some of the mold coming through there. Could probably, you know, over time, decision will have to be made on some of those boards, but for now, I think it's good. That's a reflection there. Did paint all that all the way up and down, so I think it does look better. Time consuming more than anything. Here's a couple spots I wasn't able to get to, just time constraints. But one thing, the last thing I wanted to show you was I kept tripping over the linoleum, so I did pull up just this part. It was pretty nasty under there, lots of bugs and mold and a bunch of other stuff, so I pulled back a little bit more of what I kept tripping on, and it just was getting nastier, so I did make the decision. I did want to point out, in these old houses right along the siding here, they had additional siding to hold down the laminate floor, and in there was just a lot of gunk. This wood with a little bit of sanding and some polyurethane coating would really come out, and then these old houses really need to breathe. You can see on the wall there, you just have a lot of mold build up. And I painted that because I could paint it a different color later or whatever, but there's just so much mold all along the wall, up and down, so you know, it does become a health issue after a while. You can see on this door, that's kind of what it was like, and then that's a little bit better. At least you can cover it up. Some of the newer paints are semi-mold resistant. They're not the best, but it's better than some of the mold and buildup. So I did make that executive decision. I did seal a lot of the stairs. There's a lot of holes with spiders and bugs and all sorts of stuff coming out of them, but I did go up there and at least seal those. Yeah, and that's about it. I did go upstairs, painted just a little bit up there, not much. And yeah, like I said, I wish I could have done more. I really did try and get as much done as possible, but just time, rain, heat, bugs, all the above just became problematic over time. So, but I do want to, I mean, with this floor, some of these houses up in the Midwest, this same era with this wood, it look amazing in here. Just a thought, with that laminate there, you're just blocking in a lot of nastiness inside there. There's also I did hear rats all along the this wall here. Now I don't know if it's where they're at, obviously down on the floor, but I'm not sure where they're coming in or whatever. I did paint here, did paint the door, did some minor painting here and there, and just a little bit around the windows, but nothing said specifically. I did clean out here. There was a bunch of soap and things from the 90s, I think. So anyway, there's a lot of mold underneath this. I cleaned out the best I could, but yeah, it's better, but it still needs to be cleaned right back in there. It's pretty unhealthy, so it needs to be cleaned out. Some bleach. I do have some spray that I bought. It's under a cabinet over here, and I did seal this window up so that you don't have to get as many bugs and all that sort of stuff, since this is a highly used space. Of all the things to renovate in this house, I would say the bathroom needs to be number one. It's the most used space. It can cause you the most problems. All the paint that I used, I'm going to put all down there. It's got bleach and everything else. Washed all the sheets, cleaned out the fridge. Let's see, I think that's about it. So thanks for letting me work on your house. Oh, I did, feel free to replace them or whatever, but I did bring in some of those vintage bulbs. They do, as the house comes along, it does look, It doesn't show well in the video, but that lighting with these old houses does actually look good. It fits what the look was, so that it doesn't look so drab. When you brighten it up, I mean, these houses weren't built with that in mind, so they're not meant to be lit up, but you can see with some of that that glow there, it looks better. A couple coats of paint and things like that. I think this house is it's got a lot of potential. It was right off the railroad. It means there was a lot of stuff coming down up from Chicago and elsewhere. So a lot of potential in this house. Great wood, great beams. Yeah, just beautiful. So thanks for letting me work on your house, and hope to come back and finish what I started. Thanks.